Later on, BBC Two Life and Death on Italy's front line, filmed over 3 months at the height of the pandemic. A doctor's diary, the fight to save lives in 40 minutes. After Newsnight with Emily Maitlis.
This will be a defining week for the Chancellor's handling of the economy. Can he spend our way out of this crisis? And just how big should he be thinking? Morning, one of the greatest acts of cinema music, Ennio Morricone. Themselves deny any wrongdoing or involvement in any crime. You will know his music without realising how much of it was him. The Italian composer Ennio Morricone scored more than 500 films, from spaghetti westerns to Cinema Paradiso. The Mission was amongst the most haunting, unforgettable film tracks ever penned. His death at the age of 91 was announced today, and our culture correspondent Stephen Smith, who met Morricone in Rome a few years ago, has been dipping into his prodigious life works.
They were made on the cheap, with little-known actors such as a young Clint Eastwood. But the spaghetti westerns had one big thing going for them: the music of Ennio Morricone. If you suggested that film scores should stay in the background, though, he was quick on the draw.
Molti dubbi su questo, perché la musica, se non si ricorda, è sicuramente.
I have many doubts about this, because if you don't remember the music, it's surely because you can't hear it. And if you can't hear it, that's due to the fact that either the director wanted to keep it low, or it is covered by other sounds.
The maestro felt he'd done much better things than his scores for director Sergio Leone, which included A Fistful of Dollars. Indeed, he said that was the worst theme he'd ever written.
Sicuro? È vero?
Sure, it's true. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly is the best. Then Once Upon a Time in the West, even better. Duck Your Head, even better. And Once Upon a Time in America, even better. No, it's wrong, because A Fistful of Dollars was a novelty at the time, a novelty that greatly impressed the audience. However, my music for Leone's westerns is not the best I've ever composed.
Jeremy Irons' oboe solo in The Mission was also furnished by Morricone's protean hand.
All great film composers tend to compose as easily and naturally, almost as breathing. He composed a staggering 500 film scores over a career of 50 years. He wrote a film's worth of music every couple of months.
Morricone scored Cinema Paradiso, an Oscar-winning love letter to film. It seemed the composer himself would have to settle for a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Academy. Until his late-flowering creative relationship with Quentin Tarantino led to The Hateful Eight, a new spin on the Western.
Got room for one more?
It brought Morricone, then in his late 80s, his first Oscar for original score.
Remembering Ennio Morricone. That is it from us for this evening. I'll be back tomorrow, but thanks for joining us this evening. Good night. See you then.
real issue here is one of trust, and whether China can be trusted to live up to its international obligations and its international responsibilities.
Tensions have been further increased by reports that the UK could stop Chinese involvement in the new 5G mobile phone networks. Also tonight,
I'd rather have a pint!
saving the arts world as ministers admit the support package in the wake of the pandemic will not be enough to save every job.
I've never been in that situation before, and to be in that front line along with my son, it was just awful.
Following the toppling of a slave trader statue and the man behind the music of some of the greatest film scores, tributes after the death of Ennio Morricone.
On BBC London, after almost 4 months, the Grenfell inquiry resumes, but social distancing means bereaved families can't attend.
Single moment. Clive Myrie, BBC News, in Bristol.
And you can see more from Clive on Echoes of Empire on the website. That's bbc.co.uk/news. The links are there. We'll have more from the series later this week when Fergal Keane will be reporting from Ireland. The Italian composer Ennio Morricone has died at the age of 91 after a long career in which he composed the music for hundreds of films and television shows. They included The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Cinema Paradiso and The Untouchables. And his work Chi Mai stayed in the British charts for many weeks in 1981 as the theme for the BBC series The Life and Times of David Lloyd George. Our correspondent Lizo Mazimba looks back at his life and career.
Ennio Morricone's music defined so many classics. Perhaps most famously for A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. He'd wanted to be a composer since the age of 6. Around the same time, Morricone on the right met Sergio Leone on the left. As an adult, Leone would direct the spaghetti westerns that Morricone would provide the music for.
He was one of a kind. His music is never sentimental, always emotional. Ridley Scott once said to me that sentimentality was unearned emotion, and Ennio earned emotion like nobody else did.
Uno, due. He was prolific, composing over 500 scores for film and TV. His theme for the BBC drama The Life and Times of David Lloyd George became an unlikely chart hit. In the 1980s, he cut down on work but was tempted back. His score for The Mission combined Jesuit music, native music and oboe. Music was Morricone's life, and reflecting that, perhaps his most personal score was for Cinema Paradiso, the story of a man whose passion for film began as a young boy. Morricone's own love affair with cinema was one that lasted a lifetime.
Tributes to the Italian composer Ennio Morricone, who's died at the age of 91. And that's it from us. Now on BBC One, it's time for the news where you are. Have a good night.
Right, that's it for now from me. Let's find out what the weather's got in store in the week ahead with Sarah Thornton. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thrilling cricket this, Archer steaming in.
Stokes pulls it away into the boundary.
Amazing from Moeen Ali.
That flew. That was incredible.
Take your hands off me! How am I supposed to look out for 3 kids all on my own?
Clearly dead. I don't have to tell him everything.
He'll never trust anything I say again.
Ricky, she's here.
You and your stupid line pride, Bianca.
Shut your mouth!
My boy's homeless!
Bianca is back. EastEnders 2008, streaming weekly only on BBC iPlayer.